Hello, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast ever. Kind of hot, kind of healthy. It's Friday. The vibes are high. Are the vibes high? I think so. We have the same fucking almost hairdo again. Last
She's
week when we were both wearing hats, we are morphing
she's
into each
copying me.
other. It's weird.
It is weird.
I guess I will forever be copying you because you're older. So like I can't use that and be like, well, haha, old bitch. Um,
Okay. Okay. You know what? When we are at next time, first time we're actually together in
yeah.
April, we're gonna
Yeah.
poll everyone and ask them who looks older.
I don't want to get my feelings hurt. Oh
Who
my
started
God.
this?
Yeah, you know what? Fine. I'm ready to get my feelings hurt because I mean, I do think you have like a younger looking face. Like we're roughly the same age, so it's not like a huge difference, but like I
Yeah.
also think I look very young.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I'm a baby. Like I'm not like how am I a full functioning adult? Like who let that happen? I'm a literal baby.
Sometimes I wonder. I wonder
Right?
what I wonder how they let you out of that place.
How'd they let me out? Like, who signed off on that? But anyway, is now I'm about to out myself. Is this the last episode of December?
I put it on the calendar. It says,
Again, this is a forever recurring theme.
oh, no, this is for January 1st.
Oh, happy January 1st!
First of the year.
Happy New Year. Happy
Mhm.
fucking New Year. It's 2025. Whoa.
Where did the time go?
You know that it's obviously a song, but I know it from like the TikTok sound. It's like, where'd all the time go? Constantly in my head.
Um,
Well, where are you? Because you're always traveling.
Never here. I'm in
Never.
Florida at our, if you listen to the guest episode from 2 months, month ago with Lacey,
December.
um, December, so last month. I'm watching her dogs while she is on a cruise. I'm in
Slay.
Florida.
Okay. Hot question. Hot take.
Yeah.
I will never be a cruise person. For many reasons. What about you?
Yeah. My mom recently said to me, "Oh, I wish we should do something. I was thinking about going on a cruise." And I didn't want to, like, if she wanted to do that, I would have tried to make it work mentally.
Okay.
And then she came back like the next day and was like, "Never mind. I don't want to do that." I'm like, "Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea of like being like confined, like that's like a trigger, but also
Mhm.
I get so motion sick and people
Mhm.
are like, "Oh, it's such a big boat, you wouldn't notice." But then I've also heard friends that have gone on cruises, they're like, "Oh my God, I was sick for like the first 3 days." And there
Yeah.
is nothing worse than being like nauseous from like motion sickness. Like, no, take me the fuck out.
Yeah,
Throw
they
me over
got
the
a
side of the
bunch of
boat.
Dramamine and
Bands.
those wristbands to help. But yeah, I know. I definitely get motion sickness, like roller coasters. Like when we went to Disney, there was one roller coaster. If anyone's a Disney fanatic here, I can't remember what place we were in, but it was like the one with like the Yeti or something.
Oh, Everest.
Yes,
In Animal
duh.
Kingdom. Yeah.
Why do you know that so well?
Because okay, not a Disney adult, really, that's all I'll say. But we used to go to Florida like every spring break, and we would
Oh,
usually like do like 5 days at Disney, or we would just go to Disney, and it would just be like
oh.
a whole fucking crew of us rolling up into Disney. And I'm like thankful for those memories, but wouldn't go now because it's a lot. I'm like, girl, there's a
Mhm,
lot. I'd go with my kids. I'll go with my
mhm,
kids.
mhm. Do it for the kids.
Do it for the
Anyway,
kids. Yeah.
Anyway, you, like, go up the mountain, and then
Yeah.
it goes backwards, and when it went
Oh,
back
yep.
if it would have been, like, a hair longer of a descend backward,
Yeah.
I think my gut would have been out the window, like, it was
Oh
just like,
no.
"Bleh." Like, I get so motion sickness, so I was, like,
Yeah.
literally dying, and I was like and then I thought it was gonna do it again. I'm like, "Please, no,
You're
not
like,
again."
I'm gonna vomit. No. Oh my
Yeah,
God. Yeah.
we were dying.
Yeah, I love roller coasters. I love any type of rides. I honestly haven't been on one in like a minute, but
Mhm.
I will I would like any fast roller coaster, I think it's moving so fast that like my brain doesn't realize until maybe after I get off that I'm like, whoa, I need to like sit for a minute. But even driving in the passenger seat, I get sick.
I do.
Sometimes when I'm driving, I get sick. Like the AC must be on my face at all times. Like no heat. I can't. I can't.
In the lift yesterday, I actually was
Oh.
doing, ouch, dog, just scraping my leg. I actually was working on my phone a bit, but then about like 20-ish minutes in, I was like, I had to tap out. But it's funny though, because like I can work on a plane. Like I had no issues working on the plane,
Because I feel
but
like you don't feel it moving as much.
yeah, except for of course when I went to the bathroom, like turbulence got insane.
Ugh.
And I was like, I'm gonna die in the poo room. Like that's how I felt.
Don't you know like the Jello, like broccoli and Jello?
Never heard of it.
Like the plane, like it's essentially like because there's so much pressure below and above that it's essentially like a piece of broccoli and jello. Like when turbulence happens, like it feels bad, but you're actually okay because the pressure on both ends like is
Huh.
stabilizing you.
Would
Yeah.
have never known. Would have
Yeah,
never.
and I mean, it sounds like I'm super confident on airplanes. Not actually though. So, but I know things. So if I need to calm someone else down, I can do that. But my brain goes to we're gonna die for a plethora of reasons, mostly because of other people, not necessarily the plane going down. That's never a concern. It's the other people. But anywho, slay the cruise. Probably won't be a journey for me, but I support it. It sounds great.
Yeah.
I would
You
just
like
probably
it?
get so seasick.
Yeah, my sister went on one and they're very much like they don't even like going to the beach. Like that's too boring for them. So they
Oh, they
felt
don't
like
like the beach? Oh, I love the
mm-mm.
beach.
I know. But I don't bake in the sun anymore. Like
Oh.
I'd be like last time I went in a tent reading. Like that's the main goal.
But that's okay.
Um
I mean, still feel like that's so relaxing. Like you
oh
get,
yeah, like the
yeah.
noise and the
Do you
ocean
swim?
and I will get in, but then I think about, oh my God, there's like, we don't even know the bottom of the ocean. And I'm just in here. I am an anchovy. And so then will get out of the water. But
I love a good dive. Like I have to not think about it too much. And
mm,
normally I'm good. So I love that. Love that. Not a cruise person. Probably will never be because of the sickness, but that's fun. That's a sleigh. So here you are in a new environment. Your background changes on YouTube. Guys, go to YouTube. Your background changes every other episode.
maybe I should have like AI background so it's like the same thing every time, like a
No, it's
jail cell.
exciting. It's a talking point. Where is Maddie? Like on the news, like, where in the world is Maddie? And then it goes to like cuts to you, and you're like, okay, like when it takes a minute for them to like, and they're just staring at the camera. All right, Tom. Okay. And it's like you are so awkward looking, just staring at the camera.
Stop. Every time you put on your like actress, I just see you in a Hallmark movie. Like
Shit, I have to figure out when they're casting. That is, you know what?
no.
2025. Catch
Yeah.
me on. No, it'll probably have to be 2027 realistically because I'll have to audition and then I'll have to film. But
Mhm.
watch out. I will be in a Hallmark film. I'm probably not going to be the main actress, okay? Let's be real. But I will be the cute girl at like the bakery that like gives the coffee or something. Like I see it.
Mhm.
It's going to
And then
happen.
you're like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry."
Yeah, like I almost spill it, and then like that's how like the girl gets the meet cute because then like the guy's like, oh, here are the napkins, and like helps her like clean up the mess, and like
You're the setter.
yes, oh my God, oh my God. Okay,
No.
speaking of hating cruises and loving Hallmark, what you had a hot list to hate update?
Yes. Kind of about groceries again, but not about a person or the remarks. When I got groceries in Denver and it was Walmart pickup, like you can't order like hold on. Making sure no one's okay. Making sure the dogs weren't crying or anything. But when you get grocery store pickup, like if you get a dude that's picking up for you, it sucks. Like they
Yeah.
like I don't know why. Like I ordered this sounds like a lot, but it was for like a week and a half. I ordered like 13 pounds of zucchini to last me like a week and a half because I knew I did the math.
You also love zucchini.
Correct. And my sister picked it up and it was literally 5 loose zucchini. And I was like, that's not 13. I know what 13 pounds looks like. It's like, I don't know, like 8 packs of 4 or 3, you know? And I
Okay,
was
yeah.
like, I thought I ordered like 13 pounds. She's like, you can't order 13 pounds of zucchini. I'm like, yeah, you can. Just like,
Yeah,
I just,
not one 13 pound, but yeah.
yeah. Like, and I just ordered off Instacart and and it shows you, and it's from Aldi, and I got like 4.5 pounds or whatever. I'm like, yeah, you can. So like, my beef is with ordering groceries when it's maybe a lazy person who's doing it, or like you can't get exactly what you want, and like they'll like grab something different, even if you put a like alternate. It's just annoying. It's like you're saving me time, but then you're costing me like mental bandwidth of being annoyed.
Literally, like I we don't have Instacart around these parts, but I do my my Hannaford's pickup, and I've never actually had a prop. Like it's always good, and
Mhm.
like they'll text you if the substitute isn't available. So like I haven't had a bad experience, but I saw this TikTok of
Mhm.
this girl that's like if like if a guy picks up my Instacart thing, like I cancel it because too many times I have been burned. Like I think she
Yeah.
like asked for like it was like a bag of onions or whatever and it was like two red apples. Like it was something totally ridiculous and she's like I ordered like 15 items. I got like 8 items. Half of them are wrong. I'm just like, what
Yep.
is happening? Like, don't you have to like literally like I would assume you like scan and check off items to make sure it's like correct. Like this just seems so silly. So that's like
100%.
that is just a while. So today when you did your Instacart, did you get all your
Yeah.
items?
I picked a later time just because I was like, I don't need it right
Oh,
away. So
right. So we'll see.
I
Maybe
didn't
you'll
order a
get it.
bunch. Well, so
Yeah.
we will see. We will see. Did you have anything on your hot list to hate?
All right. So, as
Oh
always,
man.
I'm I am on my sister wives soapbox right now because the newest season is out and it is just like so insane just the type of
Mhm.
like delusion that Robin and Cody like they're the only couple that's still together right now.
Mhm.
So, they are talking right now about how the first wife, Mary, she was the third to divorce Cody.
Mhm.
They're talking about her experience, and Mary was like, yeah, and you'll never guess like what Cody said. And then it shows back to like this clip they never saw before. Or we never saw before, and they were Mary and Cody are talking about like their divorce, and Cody goes,
Mhm.
"Oh man, that divorce conversation was just so hard on Robin, that poor thing." And Mary's like, yeah, it was pretty hard on me too. Like, that is the delusion. Cody is more concerned about Robin's feeling and how hard it is for Robin, sobbing Robin, crying about Mary and Cody's divorce. And Robin is so
Was she
manipulative.
really?
She was crying. Like, I mean, is it real tears? Who the hell fuck knows? But she literally was like, I have to get up and walk away. I'm like, okay,
But
girl.
why would she be why would she be crying about him divorcing one of her sister wives?
Because we're this family and we're supposed to be together and it's
Um,
just like this whole united thing and like now she's literally the only wife left
how
which
many
I
did he?
three of the wives divorced him so there
Oh,
was
wow.
four wives and Christine was the first, Janelle was the second, Mary was the third to leave him. And
Uh-huh.
so I think Robin is happy in a way to now be a monogamist, but I also think she wanted to be with her sister wives, but be like the favorite wife. Like I think she wanted to be like queen wife, head
Mm,
wife. And
yeah.
she certainly was because Cody definitely favors her, but now there's nobody else. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think she liked having the other wives for like the money aspect because like what the fuck does she do for work? We never see anything.
Oh, is she not like active on social?
No, neither her or Cody are. Maybe they do like cameos or like weird shit, but like all of the other wives, like maybe I don't agree with them, but like they do MLM. So like at least like there's income. They're making money on brand deals. Like they're at least they're working, like they're
Yeah.
doing something. I don't know what the hell she's doing. And
Right.
like this like so before they were divorced, Janelle's money, like the sale of Janelle's house went to partially buy Robin's house. And so, like,
Oh,
they're always, helping with the family finances. But I think Robin's really upset because now she's like, fuck, like, what are we
yeah.
gonna do about the money?
Yeah,
So,
it'd be easier to stay afloat when you have like three other people helping you and
yeah,
before, I
certainly.
guess.
Certainly. And yeah, so that was on the last episode and Mary, is finally standing her ground. She looks incredible in all the interviews she's doing. She's like, "I got a dog. I'm walking more. Like I'm losing weight. Like she's like I'm glowing." And the interviewer was like, "Well, what are
Mhm.
you doing? Like you look different." She goes, "I'm just walking. Like I got a dog and I'm being more active." And she's like,
Mhm.
I'm happy. She's running this business. She runs a bed and breakfast. Like you know what? Go
Oh,
fucking live your
good.
life, Mary. And I just cannot believe, I can believe it, but it was just like astonishing for Cody to be like, oh, Robin, that poor thing. It just like broke her heart hearing the divorce conversation to the woman he's divorcing. Like, why are you saying that to Mary? Like, there's no awareness. So, not only is Cody and Robin in my Nightmare Blunt rotation, they're also on my hot list to hate because, like, it just is getting worse. Like, you you think it like would stop and it just gets worse. And so I think I said a couple episodes back that Sister Wives was not giving anything this season. It's giving something. It's giving like a little bit and I'm here for it. So that's
Do
that's my Sunday nights.
I was gonna ask something and then it completely left my mind. Do you think he will try to like find another? No.
He
Why?
doesn't like believe in polygamy anymore. He's like it's
Oh.
not functional. Like he's kind of left the church. He actually just said on like the latest episode or like very close he was like I was told by like church officials like I should cut my hair like it's not within essentially like the religious guides to like have this long hair and
Mm.
all this sort of stuff. So I think for a while he's been like distancing himself, but they
Yeah.
haven't really talked about it a whole bunch until like this season. So no, I don't think he will. And I just don't think, like, I think, well, he has said this, but like, Robin is his soulmate. Like, he didn't realize what like a
Wow.
true love was like until he met Robin. And then he just like started favoring her because like the other marriages were just like, oh, yeah, we're getting married. And this is for the family and the plural family and all this. And then he met Robin and like, he was just like bending over backwards for her in ways that he like would never do for his other wives.
Was she the last he married?
hmm And there was a
Uh,
16-year gap between the third
oh,
wife and then the fourth wife. So he married Mary, and then like 2 years later, he married Janelle. 1 year later, he married Christine. 16 years later, he married Robin.
whoa.
Maybe we should do a Sister Wives deep dive episode. Because I
Oh.
I could talk about this all day, but it's just like the craziness. He is such a narcissist. It is really just really amazing to watch these women just stepping into their own and not settling for anything less than they deserve. So they're also on my good list, whatever that might be. They're on my
Mhm.
hot list to hate. The women, you know what? They're doing something for their lives. And I love that. Like fucking
Mhm.
reclaim your power. Love it.
Love. Um, Two thoughts. One thought, something funny happened.
Mm,
I didn't tell you this because I wanted to tell you on the podcast.
purposely save it for the
Yes.
pod.
I told my sister and she was dying. So if you notice, I actually like, well, I don't know. You can't really tell right now, but I actually was like, you know what? I'm gonna start doing my hair now that I have a hairstyle and putting on a little bit of makeup. Not that you can even see it here. I'm gonna start doing things for myself because like
Mm,
there is
mm.
such an energy when you like put clothes on, put a little mascara on, which you can't see because my eyelashes are like this, even when I curl them. Do your hair, you just feel better. So
Mhm.
that's the energy I've been. I get a DM from someone I know, and she was being nice, but it was just like also like really funny. And I told Lacey, and she was dying, but she was like, "Oh, I love your hairstyle, Maddie. Like, I'm so happy you're like doing your hair and makeup, and you just look so. I'm so happy you're doing that for yourself now."
It's like
And I was like,
it's
"Oh,
it's a bit of a backhanded compliment.
And this person, like, every time I've seen her,
Yeah,
she always looks put together in a very nice way. And
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
like,
of course.
thank you. I guess I had been a I've looked homely like every day. And like, I don't do things to like cater to what people want to see, but there is a difference when you like put yourself together, like you feel better, like a couple minutes. But I was just like, oh, okay. So I've been like looking like a troll. Thank you. So yeah,
Um,
reporting live from under the bridge because I'm a troll.
it's so hard because like we work alone. We're usually
Yeah,
just on the computer. Like it
yeah,
is hard. It's a choice you have to make to like put yourself
it is.
together a little bit. And
It is.
I'll be honest, some days I just don't fucking care. I'm like,
Yeah,
why? Like I'm getting my work done. I'm busy. I just don't want to make the effort for it. And then
yeah.
sometimes I'm like, girl, girl, do something. Like
When
please.
you
You
get
are
a glimpse in the mirror up.
yeah, like no, just avoid the mirror. Wow, that is really funny.
Yeah.
Some thoughts are okay to be inside thoughts.
Agreed. Agreed. Oh, the other thing. The other
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Do you think we should start, and this could be for the listeners and the viewers, would you like us, and Allie, you too, chime in, to beginning of the episode, lay out what they're gonna expect? Because sometimes I'm like, we're just like going from one thing. You know what I mean? Like, oh, today we're gonna cover some pop culture, we're gonna cover a hot list of hate, and we're gonna cover like
Yeah.
our segment that we're no, you don't like?
I am neutral
Mm.
because I think sometimes good to know what you're getting, but then other times there's things that just come up.
Well, yeah, I mean that's not the meat and potatoes. The meat and potatoes, it's
All
just
right,
like
all right. Let us know in the comments. You know, I am I can be a very go with the flow type of person.
yeah.
If you sway me in one direction, I'll be like, sure. Like it to me doesn't matter if it makes people feel like they know what they're getting. Love it. Let's do it.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess that's helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll start
Slay.
next episode.
Add it to the list. With that being said, this episode has to be a touch no, it doesn't. It's January. Does it need to be
Oh,
a touch shorter? Not so much. Not so much. Let's
true.
dive into though the topic
Wait,
today.
real quick. Do we want
Pause.
to
Yeah.
close? Wait, hold on. Sorry, I looked. January. Guess how many Wednesdays there are?
Oh, 5. So this will be a little bit shorter.
Yes. Do we want to update about James Kennedy and Allie real
Mm-hmm.
quick? Because it's a quick update.
Yep. So this is as of December 20th. So again, things might change,
Oh,
but I think
yeah.
it's important to timestamp.
Yeah.
Um, so he put out a statement. Let me read the statement. But he put out a statement, I believe, on his
Oh.
Instagram story.
That he sucks and he needs to repent for his sins.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't see that.
I think it was on his story.
Why wouldn't he put it on his page? Like, did
It
he
might
turn
be
off?
on his page, but I saw the screenshot on
Ooh, there was
TikTok.
some, there was some rough comments on his top posts.
Well, as there should be. As there should be. Where is this fucking? Okay. On Instagram, Kennedy wrote that navigating challenging moments is not easy, but I am determined to learn, grow, and move forward with the incredible support system around me. He added, this new chapter in Kennedy's personal journey comes amid the end of the Vanderpump Rules 10-year. Um,
It doesn't sound like
yeah,
anything.
that's
That
it,
sounds like
really.
he's talking about VPR not getting another season.
Okay. I am committed to me. Okay, this is the legit screenshot. So that was
Okay.
an article, but this is a legit screenshot. It looks like from 2 days ago, so the 18th of December. I'm committed to making meaningful changes in my life. I am taking time to focus on my sobriety, personal growth, and being present for my loved ones. Navigating challenging moments is not easy, but I am determined to learn, grow, and move forward with the incredible support system around me, James. So that's
I
that.
will
Allie
say that.
has moved out, it seems, into an Airbnb. There was like TMZ photos
Yeah.
of James moving Allie out. Allie posted on her Instagram story. Thank you to everyone who has reached out with love and support for checking on me. I'm okay and taking the time I need right now. I deeply appreciate all the kindness and respect for my privacy during this time. So I think to me, it seems like I mean, Kristen Doty had come out before, I believe in her book, or she like alluded to it, places that like James Kennedy was like violent. Um, there was, rumblings about how Raquel, like how she had gotten a nose job and James like bumped it. And
Mhm.
he's like, don't tell the doctor, don't tell Lisa that's what happened. Like,
Mhm.
so there definitely been rumblings about a violent energy with him, violent
Mhm.
actions, and
Mhm.
it's just not surprising, quite honestly. He has
Agreed.
really struggled with his sobriety for a while, but you need to get a handle on this shit. Like, this
I
is,
thought his
rid-
sobriety was going well.
I mean,
I mean, last time I talked to him.
yeah, right. Last time we talked to him. But I mean, with a reality show, you only see so much. Like, right,
Yeah.
maybe we're not getting the full effectiveness, or he's
Yeah.
been, getting all these now all of his residencies have been terminated,
Canceled.
which is, fucking good thing.
Yeah.
But maybe he just got all this clout and it went to his head and he, maybe was the type of person that's like, I can have one drink. I can handle this. Like I'm in a good place with my sobriety. I can have one drink. And then that
Mhm.
turns into chugging an entire bottle of alcohol, right? Because like
Yeah.
you have an addiction, right? It's not just I can have a drink, right? Like
Yeah. And his
I
dad too, right? They both are.
yeah, I believe so. And like his mom was also, remember in that scene where they're at they like had gotten to lunch or whatever, and his mom was like saying like kind of violent and concerning things about like Kristen, like after the breakup with Kristen. Like I can't remember exactly what she said. I had recently seen like a clip of it from TikTok, but like it kind of gave the energy of like she's okay with like him being like hateful towards women.
Yeah. His mom did
I'm
give
not
me.
going to say violent because I can't remember the clip exactly, but like
Yeah.
she definitely seems like the type of person that like my son can do no wrong. And that's just
Mm.
like that's not that's not a normal thing
Mhm.
for an adult, like a parent to feel about their
Mhm.
adult child. Like there has to be
Mhm.
accountability. There has to be like it just it was wild. And I think there was also rumblings about like an investigation. Let me look into that. Did you hear that?
Was his lawyers investigating
The
the?
police?
Yeah. I
Something?
mean, maybe that's just a way to say like I'm not guilty. I'm gonna check how they're, doing the paperwork.
Yeah, I was James Kennedy was investigated by Bravo over domestic violence claims.
Oh, well yeah, I feel like that's warranted.
Oh,
You know?
well, that is not what I was referring to, but I think this is
Then
now what I'm finding.
okay.
7 days ago, James Kennedy lawyer says no injuries in the domestic violence arrest. We understand that there were no injuries, and we are hoping that after careful review, the city's attorneys will decide to not file formal charges. So his lawyer it sounds like, is trying to investigate so that like he wouldn't have a DV charge.
Mm,
But the whole thing, like my feeling on this, and I'm curious about yours, is just own your fucking shit. Like, stop trying to take the shortcuts or hide behind things or
yeah,
make it seem like
yeah,
it wasn't as bad because the public has already formed their opinion. Like,
yeah.
to me, there's not a lot coming. You're not coming back from this.
I mean, when I saw him, I think his last breakup with Kristen in her apartment, And I remember she's wearing like a tank top. I just remember like the outfits.
Yep.
And he's wearing a tank top and he just looks like a string bean. I don't know if he was like on, more alcohol and whatever, but I just remember they were young.
It was chaotic.
And he like spit on the door. And I remember I was like, oof, like when you're doing stuff like that just tracks to who you
That's a
are.
scary guy.
Yeah. So it's just like, it doesn't matter at the end of the day for us, the public, whoever, if he has like the DV on his arrest or not. Like we know he's like,
Yeah.
I've always had that feeling like he's like
Just a
violent.
violent person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just a violent person. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just another way for him to get away with, the same like crap that he does. And like, I don't know. It's like, is the person violent or does alcohol make them violent or are they just violent? Like, I think
I
just like
think inherently
the
you can be
person,
a violent person, but you can have control over it. Like his anger issues were always
they,
erratic.
yes. And I even think about like all the times, Lisa Vanderpump would like fire him or something and the way he reacted, like where it was
Lisa!
just like,
Oh, it's
it
like
was just yes, but beyond. And it's
you're a
like,
grown ass man.
yeah, alcohol is just increasing his reactions and making them on a bigger
Yeah.
scale. So like I'm like this. He's had obviously has had like I feel like he's had to start over so many times because of how many times he's messed up. Like,
Yeah.
when will you learn? Truly, when will you learn?
Perhaps this will be that moment
Not if he
because
keeps getting all the outs possible.
well,
You know.
that's true. So hopefully the justice is served. But if
Mhm.
if Allie is also not going to press charges or pursue this, then I don't know
Mhm.
how far it goes. And in that
It
like looking at her perspective, she might be scared. She might be in this place where like she's like, no, but I love him. I love him. Like we have no idea. So
yeah
I'm glad that she
is out.
is out. She's in a safe place. Hopefully, she is like being surrounded with like family and support and she can heal from this because that is sounds like such a traumatic experience and
Yeah.
he was so chaotic on camera. I cannot imagine without a camera being there.
Even
You never know.
crazier. I was gonna say something and then it escaped me, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think yeah, he deserved to get everything taken away from him because those people they gotta learn at some point. They gotta hit rock bottom like 10 times. You can apparently he can still keep going lower. Like he just
Yeah.
finds new ways
Apparently
to hit
he has not
higher.
hit his rock bottom.
No, no, you gotta hit that before you really change. So yeah, thoughts and prayers, Allie. Hopefully you are not you, Allie, other Allie.
Allie Luger. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming more will unfold, but
Mhm.
it's just gross and I don't know.
Mhm.
It's just really gross and you are always like rooting for certain people and I feel like he had this
Yeah.
arc where it was like, oh, we can actually root for him. But then it's like,
Yeah.
oh no, there are things that we didn't know and Kristen sharing stuff and you re-examine things and it's
Yeah.
just gross and awful. So
Yeah.
hopefully Allie can be on a path to healing and just not go back to him because he is a garbage human being.
Agreed. On a brighter note, our for January, our guest episode, really excited about it. It is again, I'm forgetting her name, Jen. We are talking about finances and money and how to
Oh,
track
good.
money. And I did the show notes the other day, and I'm like, this is so good. Like, we have a link for you guys. You get like 30 days free of using an app to track money and everything. And so many good tidbits out of there if you want to get a little more financially savvy. We're going to do another episode with her eventually because there's just like so much more stuff that we could have talked about, but
Yeah.
it was really like an hour in. I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, so that comes out this month. So I'm excited about that. Anything else before we jump into today's topic?
I am going to suggest.
Yeah.
Can I do a Sister Wives deep dive for this month? And if we have to put half of it on YouTube,
Mhm.
we'll put half of it on YouTube.
Yeah. I was gonna
Okay.
suggest we don't
Yeah,
do deep
because
dives
I'm
anymore.
sorry. First of all, we love doing deep dives, you guys, but we are both running our business. We unfortunately at this moment do not get paid for doing the podcast. So by
Right.
you liking, subscribing, sharing, like telling the
Commenting.
people that you love about this, telling the people you
Yeah.
hate about this,
Yeah.
everybody, right? That's how we can
Your
bring you
mortal
more
enemies.
content. Yeah, mortal enemies, anybody, person sitting right next to you, whatever. But the more that, we get support from the podcast, the more we can put out. And
Yeah,
we love doing deep dives, but it takes a lot of research. So
it
we are
does.
going to be doing them intentionally. And I think we've never done really a pop culture deep dive. And so
Mhm.
I feel just for the lore of it all, it is really
Mhm.
interesting. And if there's one thing about me, I love explaining to people the lore behind
Uh-huh.
shows and characters and reality wise. Like I do this with one of my friends who's like not really like a Bravo head, but I explain
Mhm.
everything. She's like, "Oh my God, that's crazy." And like she just like I love that energy. So that is also what you can expect this month. We have a banger interview. We'll have a banger deep dive. We're banger, so we're here. And
Triple
today's
bang.
topic, should we roll it in?
Yes, like sometimes you may roll an ankle.
Ba-dum-bum.
So, because January, and we know you guys are making all the goals possible, we
Yep.
want to talk about injuries because when I'm in the DMs talking to women about lifting and exercising and they're getting started and all those fun things, injuries comes up. And that actually is someone commented on one of my TikToks and said, "Well, I like Pilates better because there's a less risk of injury."
Mm,
And I was like, interesting thought. And just to close that little loop, you know, everything you do has a level of injury that can
there's a
happen, right?
risk
A
factor.
risk, yes, a risk. Everything. And you can mitigate that risk by, having a coach, by having a program you're following, by learning how to lift correctly or do whatever activity you're doing, right? With good form, safely, all those good things. But if you want to truly eliminate your risk for injuring yourself while doing an activity, that is called don't do it at all. And now the greatest risk you were at is getting older and your bone density decreasing. And now you're at a risk for being frail. And that has
Yep.
so many more things. So some
Yep.
people will say, I don't want to get hurt. What is a greater chance of injury? Potentially getting hurt, or because you're so weak, you get hurt, right? So keeping that
Hmm.
in the back of your mind, everything has a risk. It is just the tools we have to mitigate it. I don't want to be frail, so I will continue to lift weights.
Yep.
So we're going to talk about injuries, what to do when you get one, where I have gone when I have injuries, what Alisa does when she has injuries, ways we can work around them, all that good stuff. Because I'm currently working through two injuries, and one started because of the other. But we're going to talk all about that. Anything you want to add in before we jump?
And I think there's a little bit of a common misconception around injuries
Ah,
and with what the proper protocol is. A lot of
yes,
times
yes.
people really lead with fear, and
Hmm.
that in a way can open up the possibility for more injury by leading
Hmm.
with fear. So, yeah, I think this is a really good topic, especially January. You guys are getting in the gym, you're signing up for different classes, like you are ready to be active. And we
Hmm.
want to give you that advice to avoid injury as much as possible. Or if you do find yourself getting an injury because shit happens,
Hmm.
how can you move through it?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, first and foremost, when you have an injury, right, there is a time and place to see a regular doctor, like a PCP. Like, if a bone is protruding out of your body, you need surgery, you need a cast, you need that kind of good stuff, right? Well, that scared me. Can you hear that?
What is that?
Hold on.
I thought that was a dog for a second. It sounds like some like landscaping thing. Oh, leaf blower. Okay. So if this was a one-sided podcast and Maddie didn't speak, but she just like signed, that would be really helpful right now. It would also be helpful if I knew sign language. Um, yeah. So here we are. Is it done
They're just about done. I could tell
today?
because it's getting farther away.
Yep.
So if you have an injury that needs a cast, you broke a bone, all of those things, it is important. Like go to your doctor to get an X-ray, those type of things.
Yeah.
But I always remind my clients, especially like for some of my older clients, that going to their PCP for so long was like who you went to for things, right?
Yeah.
Like to get like a muscle relaxer or to get just some like
Yep.
stronger pain, meds. That's what they did, right? And that's why I definitely have clients that just rely on that. But I remind them it's like going to your PCP for something a physical therapist or a chiropractor that focuses on rehabilitation and has physical
Sure.
therapy in their office, right? A PCP is just going to give you like strong ibuprofen and a muscle relaxer. That's not going to fix the issue, whatever that
Hmm.
issue is.
Sure.
So you can go there for sure, but it's like going to the foot doctor for a heart problem. It's not the
Yeah.
same thing. It's not going
Yep.
to figure out the root thing. So, first and foremost, when it comes to injuries, going to the right person, very important. Now, for me personally, I go like one of three ways. Like I tell my coach for workouts, like, hey, this happened. What do you think? Because she's very well versed in that. And then number two and three, I'm going to my chiropractor. And chiropractors, there's good ones and bad ones, just like there are anything. Good baristas,
Anything can be good.
yeah,
Yeah.
good
Good or bad.
and bad, right? Just I don't want to say bad, just maybe not as well as
Well,
educated.
no, I think there are some
Yeah,
bad people in
paralyzing people. Yeah,
healthcare. Yeah, like I think that's
yes.
okay to say. I
Okay,
think
yeah,
it's
yeah. I'm like,
okay.
yeah, no, that was good and bad. I don't know why I was like that.
You're like, I don't even know why I was acting as if I
I
cared.
don't know. But I love my chiropractor because they incorporate a lot of physical therapy. Beyond, I don't go there and they just crack my neck and I leave. We look
Yep.
at how we're moving, all those things. So I'm going to one of those three things. And I've been to I'm forgetting the name, orthopedic whenever I hurt my elbow and I had to get an MRI. So it's going to the right person that's what we need to focus on. It's like first
Yep.
and foremost because they can give you a better idea of what's going on compared to a PCP is like, oh yeah, that looks swollen. Here's a muscle relaxer.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. It is it's really important for like time and place because I remember, I think I was in college and I had done something to my back. Like it was just
Mhm.
flaring up. It was horrible. Could not sleep through the night. It was just
Mhm.
horrible. And
Mhm.
I had just gone to like urgent care and I just got like a certain amount of like muscle relaxers. And I was like, honestly, at the time, I just didn't give a fuck. I was like, great, I'll be able to sleep. And sometimes that is a reoccurring issue that comes up. And immediately I'm like feeling like a little bit of a flare. I like text my coach, Kelsey, and I'm just like, hey, this is what I'm experiencing. She's like, all right, let's try these certain exercises. If that doesn't work, we go to the next plan.
Mhm.
But it actually feels like you have a sense of control over
Mhm.
the injury, the pain that you're
Yes.
experiencing. You're not just
Yes.
relying on a band-aid essentially.
Yes.
And oftentimes the PCP will also be like, well, get rest. Just rest it up. And
Yeah.
oftentimes, time and place for resting,
Yes.
but also babying an injury can actually
Yes.
lead to prolonging that. So
Yep.
in some cases, like with the work that you're doing on your knee, um,
Mhm.
talk about that experience, right? Because like your
Mhm.
mindset is like, ooh, this is really fucking painful. Like it is hurting.
Mhm.
I don't want to go
Mhm.
anywhere near it. But what are
Mhm.
you doing as far as rehabbing that?
So I talked about this last time, but I partially tore my meniscus when I was like 16 or 17 in my
Yeah.
left knee. Didn't have to get surgery, which is good because my chiropractor was telling me like surgery on menisci, I don't know what the plural is,
Menisci.
is not is around the same, if not a little bit worse compared to just getting physical therapy on it. So I'm glad I
Yeah.
didn't get surgery. However, we didn't go to the best place for physical therapy, very outdated. Now, like science has gone like super fast with when
Yeah.
it comes to injuries and all these things. So we didn't know. I was young. I just went where my parents took me, you
Yep.
know? So my knee has never been able to fully extend, which is annoying for a new number of reasons. And I was jump roping and I agitated it and it blew up. It's like swollen, but not like so much I can't walk, but it's just achy, annoying, all of those things. I was talking to my chiropractor and he's like, "Yeah, we could do some good work on this and get it to full extension eventually." Well, then somehow, not somehow, but my right knee, because it's my left knee, has been taking the brunt of that
Yep.
full extension. So it actually started bugging me too.
Yep.
So I went in for my left knee originally, and they told me, yeah, let's start physical therapy. Well, I've been traveling, so I was like, no point because I'm not even home yet. So in January, I'm starting that. And then my right knee started like 2-ish months ago. And now we're
Yep.
working on the right knee to get it a little bit stronger again because it's swollen from taking the brunt from the left knee. So I'm working on that. Then I'll be starting physical therapy. But, I could have went to my PCP and just said like give me a shot of cortisone, to help with whatever. And
The fucking
I know.
classic line of
And
I am in so much pain. Give me a shot of cortisone and boom, good to go.
and people don't realize is that cortisone breaks down the tissue, the ligament over time. So the
Yep.
more cortisone injections you get, you are shortening the lifespan on your ligaments.
And
So
at some point, the relief stops.
yes, and
So,
it's just let's so my thing is I want to get to the root cause. Like I want to be traveling. I want to get my both knees, fixed and they're not swollen, feel good. So I'm not worrying about this because like right now they're achy and annoying.
yeah.
So right now I'm doing my rehab on both legs every day, what they told me to do. I go back to the chiropractor to get some more physical therapy work on my right one on the 30th, and then I go back like January 8th or something and I start physical therapy on the left knee. So I'm probably going to be getting them both looked at the same time. But workout wise, I am squatting to a bench. So I'm still doing quad movements. I'm still doing everything else as normal. I'm just not squatting all the way
Yep.
like my full.
Decreasing that range of motion
Yep.
a little bit.
I have added in different movements. Yeah. So like if you have knee pain in general, let's say like this is like full range of motion, like
Yep.
standing up and then like your squat at the very bottom of the screen, right? If you're
Yep.
like good, 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 and you feel pain here, then you can reduce it by squatting just above it to a
Yep.
bench. So that's a good
Yep.
rule of thumb. If you don't feel pain at a certain level, go to right above the level. So I'm squatting there and I've added in different movements that really target the quad and the muscle specifically that's struggling to fire because of the anatomy of my hips.
Yep.
So we basically have determined because I didn't go to a PCP, because I went to a chiropractor, because I'm going to a physical therapist, he's like, this makes total sense why this happened because the way your hips are and your pelvis is positioned, your knees are predispositioned to rotate in.
Yep.
So it's called your VMO. It's like that teardrop muscle on the inside of your quads. That
Hmm.
one is struggling to work because of the layout of my anatomy. So it's not
Yep.
something I could change, but what I can do is position my feet differently when I'm squatting, do different movements that really focus on that. But again, all of that is possible because I'm going to the right people and because I am being proactive about it. I've had
Yeah.
too many times where clients were like, yeah, my back has been bugging me for the last 6 months since we started doing this. I'm like, wait, 6 months?
Yeah.
You
Like you
didn't.
tell me, like tell me
Yes.
immediately.
Yes.
I think a lot of people are also just used to living in pain to some
So
degree.
true. So true.
So it's not, it's almost as if, well, there's probably not a lot I can do about it. So I'm just
There's
going
a
to
lot.
tolerate it. But
Hmm.
the reality is there is a lot that you can do about it. And even without necessarily having to go to PT or the chiropractor, right? Like sometimes it's just saying to your
Hmm.
coach, right? If you're working with
Hmm.
somebody just saying, "Hey, I'm experiencing X, Y, and Z. Is this
Mhm.
normal?" And we're going to come back and say, "Hey, send me a form video. Like send me a video of
Mhm.
you doing this exercise." And
Mhm.
usually I can clock what's happening, right? Sometimes I'm like, "You know what? I have no idea what's going on. Let me ask somebody that knows more than me."
Mhm.
And it's just really important to like have that level of communication. Even if you go to your PCP because you're like, well, guys, I need a fucking referral, fine. Express
Yep.
to them what you want, own that appointment, and don't
Yep.
settle for just somebody
Or yeah.
brushing you off with a prescription, right?
Yep.
You have the ability to advocate for yourself and to get what you need. You don't have to live in pain. You don't have
Mhm.
to just settle. And
Mhm.
like Maddie was saying, you might find that it is your anatomy that is really causing the
Yep.
problem, for lack of better terms. And so now you can figure out what you need to do to work with your body.
Yep.
And like sometimes it's really small changes that is not fucking rocket science, but all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, I'm like actually starting to feel less pain. Um,
Mhm.
and with that as well, with an injury, the sometimes the worst thing you want to do is to stop movement,
That is
right?
the worst thing.
We
That
don't want to we don't
100%
want to
is.
squat maybe to the floor like if your knee is in
Mhm.
pain, but as you said, squatting to a level where it's right above that pain because you're still getting your blood flow. You're getting blood to that source, right? All your red blood cells are going to work. They're going to do their thing. They're going to be like, patch, patch, patch. We're working so hard over here. And it's actually going to help that healing process versus, like, let's say you got back pain. Sometimes, you hear like the dad lifts too heavy and he's like, oh, my back is thrown out. I got to lay on the couch, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes, you know what? Maybe go lay on the couch, like if you've thrown out your back. But if you're experiencing some like low back pain, I am never going to say go lay in bed. I'm going to say let's get a quality walking shoe on and let's get some movement. Okay? Let's focus on where the pain is and how we can create some flexibility because oftentimes if you're having like some low back pain, we're probably having tightness in your legs, right? Maybe you're not moving enough. You're sitting on your ass all day. Sorry, I'm going to call you
Mhm.
out, but there's a lot of lifestyle changes that you could also make in order
Mhm.
to prevent these injuries or just to heal them, right? Because sometimes
Mhm.
you got low back pain because your back's fucking irritated because you haven't moved all day. Or if you're
Mhm.
sick in bed, like when I got COVID and I was like so ill and I was like, well, I just like I literally can't do anything and I know my back is going to be sore, but I don't even have the energy to stand up. So
Mhm.
I would literally stand next to my bed and I would just kind of like rock my hips and sway. And I'm like, I don't know what else to do because I feel like I'm going to die. But I know if I stay in this bed for 24 hours, which I was
Yeah.
doing, I am going to not sleep because my back is going to be so irritated. So sometimes it's also looking at your lifestyle. And if you're in some of these workout classes, that also might be a problem. You were a group instructor, if you will.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
I also did that to a degree. It was more not necessarily running classes, but working with small groups and like doing like lifting with athletes and that sort of stuff. But what is something you would see
Oh.
that, you were like, ooh, injury, injury. Like I am that is right there. I know it's not going to end well.
Yeah, anytime it was like any hip hinging movements, just the speed at which people move through them because they're trying to get as
Yep.
many reps they can before that buzzer goes off. It's
Yes.
like
Yeah.
that's just like the biggest proponent of like back pain that can lead to injury in other areas. Like
Yeah.
I had a client that's like, yeah, my like low back has been like really just like tight and annoying. And when I was like, send me a video of like your hip hinging. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like anytime we were hip hinging, it was like more extension and more of like the
Yep.
rounding. And it
Yep.
barely felt anything in her glutes and hamstrings. So yeah, it
Yep.
makes sense why your low back is bugging you. But yeah, a lot of times in group fitness, it's trying to do it get as much as you can get in. So you're moving at the speed of light and
Yeah.
you're not feeling that mind muscle connection, which when you're not feeling it as much, odds of injury are higher.
Hmm.
And then you're just not going to develop the actual muscle. Like it's not about how many reps you do. It's like, are you actually feeling the muscle
Yep.
work?
Quality versus quantity.
Hmm.
Always, always. And in those group classes, I have a preference of what I think works the best and what I've
Hmm.
experienced work the best for my
Hmm.
clients. Some people love a group class. And you know what? If you are moving your body, you're working out,
Hmm.
great. We can go deeper into that, but
Hmm.
whenever I would do group classes myself, because I was like, I would love like just doing a free trial class. I'd be like, oh, I can just try it out for free and it's just fun. It's something different. Hated Orange Theory. I thought it was literally the worst because I was
Hmm.
just looking around and I'm somebody that, knows how to lift. I'm somebody that I take really good care of my body in the gym because like I'm not trying to fuck around and hurt myself. I'm looking at all these people. I don't know, this was like maybe 2018, 2017 and I was like, "Oh my God. They are like destroying their bodies. Like where are
Hmm.
they now?" Because so fast, you're worried about the time or you're trying to get as much done as you can. The coaches aren't necessarily the most helpful because they're like, come on, ladies, keep going.
Like
And it's like,
cheerleaders.
maybe we should be more intentional about the quality, but they just want you to sweat. They want to get that heart rate up. They're like, you're leaving dead. That means you had a great workout. And that's just not necessarily true. So I think it's important that if you find yourselves in those classes, making sure that you're actually feeling the movement where you are
Mhm.
supposed to and slow the fuck down. Like, who cares if
Mhm.
fucking Kathy over the speaker is yelling to do more, do more? Go slow. And a
Mhm.
little tip I like to do, and I tell my clients is if it is possible, right? Put your hand on the muscle where you're trying to feel. So, like when we're warming
Mhm.
up, if you're doing hip hinges, I'm like, put your hands on your glutes or like
Mhm.
around your hips like visualize in your mind the muscle you are wanting to activate, you're working, and over time it just gets easier to notice, oh, I'm not really feeling it here. Let me readjust my position, let me slow down,
Mhm.
let me drop the weight a little bit. Because again, too many times we're focusing on heart rate and sweating and burning calories when it's
Mhm.
like, are you even doing a squat right? Or are you doing deadlifts right? Like in these group classes,
Yeah.
no, you're not. You're not. I'm sorry. I am just going to say it. 99% of the time, the movements are not being done correctly.
100% agree. Even with my knee stuff, like they told
Yeah.
me like tap the muscle when you're using it, and I got the dogs rowdy. But I've been tapping that muscle to try, and I'm
Yep.
like, come on, it's like it's working, it's
Yep.
struggling, but
Yep.
I like that's a great cue. When it comes to working out around an injury, I've said this like way back when we first started the podcast, but there's very good research that shows when you, let's say, sprain an ankle, for example, if you still continue to lift and
Yep.
just do everything on the opposite side, you will get similar muscle growth on the injured side because I don't know the exact science behind it, but your body
Yeah.
kind of reciprocates that action, that muscle growth. So
Yep.
that is something that even like I remember there was a coach I had and he was doing like single leg squats to a bench on the other side, and
Yep.
it was helping with his injured side. So there is so much you can do when it comes to if you have an injury wherever it's on one side, you can still work the other side, and it will help to a degree
So
on
many
the other side.
modifications that can be
Yeah,
made.
yeah, and that's why it's important to tell whoever you're working with as soon as it happens, so we can figure out a game plan. Like, hey, pain level is here. Let's add in this movement. Let's take out that movement. But if you want to have the best chances of getting an injury, like you don't want not getting an injury, but getting through an injury, getting to the
Hmm.
healed part, it is
Yeah.
making someone aware, the right
Yep.
person aware of it, resting it when it actually needs rest because it's inflamed or it's
Yes.
very swollen, doing the right type of care, and modifying, right?
Yep.
Modifying what needs to be modified. Like if it's hurting if you're squatting past a certain point, it hurts. Make sure you're going above, not making it worse. But just sitting is typically not the answer for these things.
Right. And I like the part where you said resting when it needs to. And
Mhm.
most of the time, you might not know, does this need
Mhm.
rest? Does this need movement? So that's why making the right people aware and
Mhm.
asking your question and getting a protocol, really, because
Mhm.
there are times when I need to put a little bit of heat on my knee
Mhm.
because nothing else feels good. And then they're like, maybe an hour later, then I can walk a little bit. I can do a little bit of my exercises that me and my coach talk about. We're checking in. I like when you hit a certain age, you just get out of the car wrong and like sprain your fucking ankle, right? Remember how I told you I fell
Yep.
in a park? Yeah, like ate shit. I literally was like, holy fuck, I've never felt this type of pain in my ankle. It took me like 2 minutes to stand up. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. So for 6, 7 months, it felt off. Like it was achy, it was painful, but I never stopped working out. We just modified different movements. Like I would do
Mhm.
for, a single leg deadlift, I would keep one foot planted. Like I modified it because I was like, I can't stand on this foot with my ankle feeling like this. Like this is not going to feel
Yeah.
good. So we made a modification. We took out squatting for a little bit and replaced it with other movements just because it was so painful, but it didn't stall my progress. It
Mhm.
didn't get worse. It feels totally fine now. I have no issues. It's back to normal. And
Mhm.
that's because I had the awareness to be like, yo, coach, this happened. It really hurts. And
Mhm.
she's somebody that I trust. She's somebody that knows what she's talking about. And if what we were doing wasn't working, I would go to the next step and
Mhm.
bring attention to it elsewhere because, like, you guys have goals in your head and we get that. Like you want to see the results that you want. The best way to do that is to avoid injury. And I think that's where a lot of people get really scared. They're like, but what if I start weightlifting like you guys say and I hurt myself? Because I think that's just a narrative that women tell themselves. And
Yeah.
girl, it is just not necessarily true. You are going to hurt yourself more in these group fitness classes because it's
And
all
just
about
daily
speed.
life.
Yup,
You
yup.
hurt yourself just rolling your ankle. Like you weren't like, I'm gonna roll my
Falling
ankle.
down.
You know what I mean? Like freak
Yeah.
things happen, and I would
Yep.
much rather be prepared having more muscle mass on my body. I mean, there
Yep.
was a girl I remember a long time ago on TikTok. She would have died in this car accident, and
Oh
it was
God.
like I saw her on the stretcher in the video, and the doctors were like, the only reason you did not break your neck fully is because you lift weights and you're strong.
Wow.
Like, and it's
Wow.
just like, right? She's not like, I'm training to live through a car accident, right?
No, yeah.
It is just a byproduct
Byproduct.
of being
Hmm.
strong. So it's like, do you want to be strong for life or always worry about, but I might get hurt if I pick up 5 pounds heavier, right? It's like
Right.
picking your poison. I was going to say
Mm.
something else. Oh, so you said it took you said 6 or 7 months till it stopped
Yeah.
hurting?
Yep.
Imagine I'm sure people could raise their hand if they're listening to this. You do something and you just stop completely.
Yep.
So for 6 or 7 months, you just stop because it's still hurting, and you've been in a diet phase that whole time.
Yep.
That's how easily plans can get literally blown up when you don't have someone helping you because
Yep.
she's been in a diet phase. It's
I
gonna
would
lose
have I would have gained the weight back
and more probably.
more. My metabolism would have not been in a good place. I wouldn't be
Yeah,
able to handle the food I was eating without my activity level.
yeah,
And my ankle would still hurt to this day.
yeah.
It would still hurt because I wouldn't have been doing anything to work on that injury. I would have been like,
Mhm.
it needs rest. I never really
Yeah.
rested it. Like I would elevate it in the first couple of days it happened, it blew up like a fucking
Mhm.
balloon. Couldn't get my shoe off. So yes, in
Mhm.
that moment, rest.
Yes.
But once the swelling went down, it was under control. A couple of days later, it was back to business. And I just
Yep.
really was careful and I
Mhm.
listened if there was pain, but I was like, I got fucking plans. Like I have
Yep.
plans in this dieting phase. So yeah, that's a lot of times where people they the plan gets fucked up and they're like, the plan didn't work. Like this didn't work. And
Yep.
it's like, well, because it needs to be adjustable.
I mean, even mine, like both my knees are swollen right now, right? The
Yeah.
plan is not to let my knees rest. The plan is we need to get the right muscle working on both of
Yep.
my knees and work on another muscle that's not allowing my knees to like not be swollen. So,
Yeah.
even if you're like, well, it's swollen, I know what to do with swollen. Do you really? Because if I were just resting, the issue would not go
It
away.
doesn't resolve. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where injuries get me so like riled up because like going to your PCP is not it's the foot doctor for a heart problem. They don't
Yep.
know and like I'm on like my fifth PCP in my adult, maybe even more than that, my adult life because they all drop like flies because our medical
Yeah.
industry is poo poo to them. But it's resting is not always the answer. There's a root cause for everything in this life. And if you have an injury, it doesn't have to stop you. There's always a
Yeah.
plan. There's always a way to keep going. And like we always say, not to like call in karma, but shit's gonna happen. It's how
Yeah.
prepared are you for that shit?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that's just being realistic. And
Yeah.
that is why having a support system is all the more important because
Yes.
shit happens. And look in your life where you have support, right? You probably
Mhm.
have support with a therapist or an accountant
Mhm.
or a family doctor or
Mhm.
a mechanic you go to, right? Like you have support in certain places, but like where are the gaps? And the reason why you are struggling in the gym or you're relying on these group fitness classes, but you're not seeing results and you are just feeling like I'm putting all this work in. What is not happening? It's because you're missing support
Mhm.
in the area of like your personal goals. And again, injury comes up. You've definitely experienced it if you're listening to this right now because everybody has. And what have you done in the past? And don't make the same decision going forward because for most of you, it
Mhm.
probably wasn't the best decision you could have made. And it's just crazy because like we are too young. Like even when I look at like my parents, like they're too young to be stopped by an injury. And
Yep.
if they have an injury, they go to the chiropractor. They do PT. They get their shit figured out because
Mhm.
like they're active people. They got no plans to be stopping and like
Mhm.
carry that energy. Like the 30-year-olds that are listening to that carry
Yep.
that fucking energy.
I mean, I plan on doing a ton of traveling in
Yeah.
maybe end of 2025, 2026. And I was talking to my gunkle, and he was saying how that his friend owns a nice apartment in France, and they were like, "Hey, like, do you want to come up?" It was like very last minute, and he was like, "Oh, I want to, but my knee is just hurting so bad. I
Oh,
can't do a ton of walking." And I was like, "I'll be damned if I am
yeah.
saying that in 30 years."
Never.
Hence why I'm putting the work in now. I said 2025, we're fixing that knee. We're getting it done. We're fixing the rest of my skin issues. I'm going to be glorious after that. So,
Yeah.
prioritizing those things, right? It's all upkeep. Like your body, you are just upkeeping it, finding ways to upkeep.
Yep.
Like I also said 2025, I'm like, I'm really not going to like things I value investing in is like food, right? Like
Yep.
I'm at Airbnb, not Airbnb, I'm at Lacey's condo right now and she graciously ordered me groceries, and I'm like, I could last on these. I'm like, you know what? No, I want my salads. Like, I love a big salad, so I just ordered more groceries and got
Yep.
myself some more veggies because why skimp out on something like I value, I enjoy, I know my body loves a big ass salad every day. So it's finding those things that to me I value it, and I know I'm going to get great benefits from it as well. And finding that for
Mm-hmm.
yourself, that's going to propel you forward, in
Mm-hmm.
2025.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Love
It,
it.
we the last couple of the last couple of episodes, we have
Uh-huh.
talked about health goals in
Uh-huh.
2025, looking at New Year's resolutions and all these sort of stuff. We are in January right now. As you listen to this, this is where you get to take yourself seriously and
Mhm.
own your shit. Own your goals, own what you are going to prioritize
Mhm.
because you are the only one that can want it for yourself.
Mhm.
And let's look at it
That's true.
like in December 2022, December 20th, 2022. too. I made a decision to just like get over my shit, and my mental health was in a good place. And I was like, I hate my body.
Hmm.
I am tired of just hating it and just like being
Hmm.
okay with it because I was never okay with it. But I was just like, I don't even know how to manage my mental health and my physical health at this point. When I was in that place, I haven't never looked back. I have been so committed. I do what I need to do to be that person. And that is a decision I actively make every single day. My clients, Maddie's clients, Maddie herself, we actively make decisions every single day. And so as you're listening to this, I hope you are making the decision actively to pour into yourself, to pour into your goals, to commit, to be that person, like we talked about, to be that person who is going to achieve these goals. Because if you don't, time just keeps going and you
Hmm.
either get more unhappy or you become more fulfilled. And that's on fucking considering yourself a priority.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like I fall into the trap sometimes of talking to women where I'm like trying to convince them to like
Sure.
see themselves as that priority. Maybe that's like the I want to save people type of
Yep.
thing. Like, because I
Sure.
was at that point before where I like
Sure.
didn't really care about those things. But there's such a difference in your life quality when you're like, oh yeah, like I am the main character of my life. Like
Absolutely.
I love one of my clients. She just signed on for another year. We talked about her last time, how we were like planning out her diet plan for 2025. And she's like, I had like one of like the biggest professional highlights. Like, and I was in this dress and I felt so confident. I was just like, felt so on top of the world. I'm like, that's when because we've been working together for like over a year. And it's cool to see, like, again, it's not just like, let's lose weight, right? But like
Yeah.
when you confidently take steps in prioritizing yourself and putting yourself first and putting yourself, like I'm choosing for my future self.
Hmm.
I'm making this decision because it's going to better me in the future. Like, you just show up differently, you act differently, you illuminate a different kind of like aura about yourself. And I think that's really cool. I think that's
Yeah.
really cool when it's beyond just the scale, right? It's beyond all those things. It's just that consistent, you got to work that muscle of choosing the harder decision. It'd be easy for me to sit here and complain about my knees and then be
Yeah.
like, "Ugh, they hurt," but it's
Yep.
work to every day. I'm checking off knee rehab. I'm doing it
Yep.
because I want that for my future self. And I know it's going to serve me long term. And it's not easy. It'd be even easier to be like, cross it off, but I didn't do it, right? But I know I want more for myself, and it's going to give me more freedom too with my body. So just
Yeah.
things to think about, as you guys are heading in 2025. And what do you want out of your life and your quality of life? What do you want that to look like?
Hmm. And to like wrap it up, it's a pretty simple decision, to be
Yeah.
completely honest.
Yeah.
You can either stay where you are or you
Mhm.
can commit and own that. And it doesn't mean that the process is easy, but it
No.
is actually a very simple decision. And if you are struggling with it being a simple decision, you have to look at why. Like,
Mhm.
why am I feeling overwhelmed? Why am I feeling like it's a hard decision? Why haven't I done it? Get fucking curious. This is what Maddie and I do in our business. Get curious in life. Get fucking curious. When you feel like you've hit a
Mhm.
roadblock, get curious. And again, we're not here to fucking convince anybody to do anything because, like, that's not my job. But
Mhm.
I am gonna be here to pose questions that make you fucking think and
Mhm.
make you reflect and kind of say to yourself, am I committing to myself? Am I putting myself first? Am I a priority? Or am I not, right? Like you have to look in the mirror and face the
Mhm.
reality of whatever situation you're in.
100% agree. And that's on that. The only thing I have, if you haven't downloaded my Lean Body Meals Guide, it's totally free. I will put the link below. You can learn how to meal prep like my lean and strong clients and save way more time in the kitchen because we're not cooking for every single meal. We're not making extravagant 500 ingredient 5 hours in the kitchen things. We are
Pinterest meals.
Yeah, we're not doing Pinterest meals. We're doing quick efficiency things that actually get you lean and strong, not just waste your time. And then usually have way more fat than you were actually like able to eat in a day. So I'll put the link below for that. Anything, Allie?
I love that. I have 3 spots open for one-on-one coaching. I will put the link to apply below. I only work with women who are ready to take the overwhelming feelings out of losing weight and toning up and who want to be confident, you guys. I have struggled with not being confident because of gaining 30 pounds. And I know what it feels like to fucking lose it and feel the best version of myself to actually want to take pictures. That's what I want for you guys. So I have 3 spots below, and I'll put the link below. If you have any questions, DM me. We'll put our Instagram handles below as well.
Amazing. Thank you
Love.
guys so much for listening or watching to Kind of Hot, Kind of Healthy. Please make sure to subscribe, give us a 5-star review, share this with your girlfriend who has an injury, is afraid to lift, who needs to be put in her place by us. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, anywhere where you can stream podcasts. If you have a burning question about life, friendships, health, and 1 or 2 cents, email us at kindahotpod@gmail.com. That's KINDAHOTPOD@gmail.com. Bye.
Bye.